Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, we're going to talk about prisons and the makeup of prisons, as in who is inside. And these numbers are truly astonishing. And we're going to talk about certain crimes more than others, but it is these numbers that will make you, I think, angry. They won't be surprising, I suspect, but they will be anger-inducing. So hold on to your hats, because we're going to go through this. The number of foreign national sex offenders in prisons is rising 3 times faster than UK national offenders. The number of migrant criminals inside for some crimes having doubled in just a decade. And there's demands for greater transparency about migrant crime. And these demands have seen the UK government release new data on foreigners in the prison system, lifting the lid not only on the huge cost to the taxpayer of incarcerating criminals with no reason to be in the country, but how these trends are accelerating. Now, of course, this was all kicked off by Rupert Lowe. He was stating that Britain's prisons are filled with foreign sex offenders. Why are any of them, he says, still in the country? He said it's a rapidly growing problem, but we do at least, he says, have an answer. He says, deport, 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 and then deport more. It is truly astonishing, the numbers, which we're going to now look at. There are now a record number of foreign sex offenders and foreign violent criminals in jails in England and Wales. The data shows that the number of migrant sex criminals is up 10% in just 1 year, rising at a rate 3 times faster than British offenders. In all, the number of foreign sex criminals in those jails in in England and Wales has soared by 26.6% since 2015. The number of Syrian criminals in prison is up 46% in just 1 year. Now, the figures are even more astonishing for some other crimes. The number of violent migrant offenders in England and Wales is at its highest level now ever, with foreign prisoners held for violence against the person up 51%, public order offences up 95%, and weapon possession up an unbelievable 140% since 2015. These are the people that Keir Starmer is so keen to bring into this country. Foreign offenders are twice as likely to be in prison for drug offences than Britons. Indeed, there are some major startling differentials between native and migrant criminals revealed, with migrants in prison for robbery up almost 8% in the past year, while the number of Britons fell by over 5% in the same period. It is asserted that some English prisons hold 85% of their inmates that are foreigners. 85% of criminals in some prisoners are foreigners. We need to empty the jails, and it's easy. You send them home. As Rupert Lowe says, deport, deport, deport. Now, in a separate and ludicrously astonishing number, analysis of Scottish prisons figures by, there was a member of the Scottish Parliament this week actually said this. So, the Tory MSP Stephen Kerr. He shows that over a quarter of all Eritreans in Scotland are in prison. Why are they here? Why are they not back in Eritrea? The data shows the incarceration rate for Albanians, Poles and Vietnamese is absurd. According to his reckoning of prison numbers in the latest sentence, over a quarter of all the Eritreans, he says, and a fifth of all Somalians and a sixth of all Albanians in Scotland are actually in prison. Now, Robert Bates is the research director at the Centre for Migration Control, and he's responding to the data. He's blaming the government, of course, for spiking migrant criminal behaviours, and he's called for action. He said this increase is the direct result of post-Brexit immigration system introduced by the last government. Criminal record certificate checks must be mandatory for all visa applicants, And the nationality red list, which operated until 2020, must be reintroduced to flag applications that are a potential risk. Also, of course, you've got to close down the border to illegal immigration. Now, Robert Jedrick, he's also held court on this, of course. Partially, I think, because he believes it. I think mainly, of course, it's a good beating stick for his chance to become leader of the Tories. But he is really the de facto leader of the party now, isn't he? He said that the government must deport every single one of these foreign offenders. They need to be kicked out of the country immediately. Starmer must suspend visas and aid until countries take back their nationals. Nigel Farage, again, we were waiting for him to speak, of course. He also spoke out. He was remarking of this fresh data. He says, the time has come for a national conversation about the link between immigration and crime. Now, his Reform UK party is presently on a crime campaign. It started at the beginning of the week. He's announcing policies to tackle lawlessness and warning that the country faces nothing short of societal collapse. People are scared to go out to the shops, scared to let their kids out. The society is degrading and it is happening very, very rapidly. And of course, he's right. Now, what do you do to break it? Well, you control immigration. You send every criminal, the moment they break the law, they go back. You tighten the border, you don't let the illegals in. You tighten the visa rules to make sure that the people who do come here are worthy. And, you don't let them settle illegally. This is the point. They've got to have stuff. Now, Rudy Giuliani did a similar thing. He made New York, which was a very dangerous place, quite safe. He did it because of his turn, the Broken Window and Graffiti Act, basically. You clean up the graffiti, you fix the broken windows, you make the place look better. It leads to better places. He says he'd like to see the army run prisons. Says that would help. As Farage is saying, huge numbers of law-abiding, tax-paying Britons have also lost respect for the police for so many different reasons, and seeing crimes committed and no one bothering to investigate them is another thing that needs to happen. And so he's right. So let me know what you think. Is the crime sprees we're seeing, is that led by immigration? Are we too soft on immigration? Should we deport? These are questions that need to be answered. Not by us, of course, but by politicians. After all, they're the ones that have got to make the decisions. The trouble is, to make those decisions, you need a spine. And alas, they are in very short supply in the House of Commons. Thanks very much.